They should have their own movie before we have a team-up movie. Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome back. If you were able to catch my Blue Beetle final trailer reaction yesterday on the channel, you might have heard me mention that I would be covering some Superman Legacy casting news today, and that's what we'll be talking about in this video indeed. So if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and check out my Blue Beetle final trailer reaction. That's on the channel now. And if you're new and you enjoyed this video, you can also subscribe. Alright, so more Superman Legacy casting news. We've already got the announcement of David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois. And so several actually, more casting announcements. Now, James Gunn did mention that there would be other superheroes in Superman Legacy because it's not going to be necessarily an origin story for Superman. He already exists in a world where there are other heroes already. However, I didn't expect to see this many. But so far, besides the casting of Superman and Lois Lane, we now have casting for Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. I don't know if I said her last name right, sorry. Eddie Gathegi, also not sure if I said his name right either, so apologize, as Mr. Terrific, and Nathan Fillion as oh my god, all these names, as Guy Gardner Green Lantern. Okay, so those came out yesterday. The more recent casting announcement is Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho. Okay, I mean, to me it's kind of surprising that all of these characters are going to be in Superman Legacy, given that it is a Superman movie and it's going to be the first movie from their new DC universe. Yes, they said Blue Beetle is part of that universe as well, but I don't see that movie as like kicking off their new DC universe. He's just a character that, you know, is supposedly going to also exist in that same universe. Even though he said there would be other heroes that exist in this world, I didn't expect to see quite this many. It doesn't mean they're all going to have significant roles in the movie, because that would be kind of a lot, I think. But I still feel like, you know, it's a lot to put into their first movie that's supposed to be a Superman movie. Now, a lot of people complained about BVS and even Zack Snyder's Justice League that all of these other characters didn't get their own movie and it was too fast. We shouldn't have had all these characters yet in the movie. They should have their own movie before we have a team-up movie. Oh my god. Even though Zack Snyder's Justice League perfectly set up Aquaman's movie, The Flash's movie, Wonder Woman's next movie, set up for Superman to continue with Lois. It gave them a new thing to, you know, she was pregnant. Bruce has this this new perspective. So it set up pretty much, it set up everything. It set up a cyborg movie, you know? And then even in BVS, it was an amazing way to introduce Batman into this world, because we saw the events of Man of Steel from his perspective, and then it also was a really cool way to introduce Wonder Woman before we got her first movie. So all those people that complained about, it's too much, it's too fast, are you going to complain about this too? Because this is a whole lot of people in their first movie. Superman was just Superman and the Kryptonians, right? Easter eggs for Lex and Bruce Wayne. And we also know Lex is supposed to be in the movie too. We just haven't, I thought that would be the next casting announcement that we would see, but we're getting more hero announcements first. I'm pretty sure that one is probably somewhere around the corner very soon for, you know, Lex Luthor. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just, you know, there's always a double standard, you know what I mean? There's a couple of tweets and statements that I want to share as well regarding this. James Gunn said, "I've never used one movie to set up another movie. The characters are there because they help to tell Superman's story better, not so we can set up separate projects in the franchise. Superman and Lois are the very clear protagonists." I guess that's maybe his response to people saying that there's like a whole lot of characters, you know, in a movie that's just supposed to be Superman and it's kind of kicking off their DC universe. Like, why put so many in their first movie? But, you know, that's what he had to say about it. He also said, "We're entering a world where superheroes exist and have existed for quite a while. They are part of one side of his world," referring to Superman, "and just like Lois and Jimmy are part of another." I like the way that this statement put it. Superman Legacy will explore Superman as a man of two worlds. One is Clark within the Daily Planet, and one is Superman with the metahumans of Earth. So that kind of clears up what, kind of piggybacks off of what James Gunn was explaining, was what he meant by, we have like the Daily Planet over here with Lois, Jimmy Olsen, that whole human aspect, and then all of these other heroes are part of his superheroes, the Superman side of him. The tweet that that statement is referring to is from James Gunn that says, Superman is a man of two worlds, Clark with Lois, Jimmy, and Perry, and Superman with his metahuman compatriots. How could I tell a full story about Clark and Superman without including all areas of his life? Which, you don't have to do that all in one movie, in my opinion. Like, that was one of the main reasons why Zack kind of deconstructed Superman. I'm not trying to compare, but that's what we have to compare it to. Like, that's what made Man of Steel so special, and why it made a lot of people that didn't like or care about Superman before have a different perspective about him. Because Superman in the past, he never was able, and even Christopher Reeve said this as well, he was never able to grow or, show any kind of transformation or growth, character growth, a character arc. We never had that in Superman movies before. Man of Steel allowed that to happen, or would have happened if we got to see more of him, which thankfully we got to see Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it gave us that glimpse of Clark growing into Superman and becoming a more, wise Superman, which we could have seen more of it, but you know what I mean? Seeing him have struggles and challenges, and he doesn't have a perfect life just because he's a super powered god being. There's challenges that come with that. James Gunn is saying, how could I tell a full story about Clark and Superman without including all areas of his life? Well, yeah, but if you're going to have this whole 8 to 10 year plan, there's time to kind of, fold things in a little bit. You don't have to put it all in the first movie. Maybe it's too early to make those kind of judgments based on that statement. That's just my perspective. Okay, there's also a rumor or some, potential plot details that Grace Randolph shared. I know a lot of people don't like her or whatever, but, I'm gonna share it since it's kind of out there right now. Not saying it's accurate. It's just, take with a grain of salt. She said, okay, here we go. Superman Legacy, conflict in Middle East. Superman wants to stop it one way. Other heroes disagree. And I'm assuming she's referring to those other heroes that we just found out about being cast in the movie. And there could be other ones too that we don't know about yet. Lex Luthor is also trying to negotiate peace his own way. The Authority was a misdirect. And then she kind of leaves her opinion about this. Could be similar to like a JSA type of team up in that regard. People have had a lot to say, obviously, about these casting announcements. Pretty much, a lot of familiar faces. The only person I don't immediately recognize so far is Isabella Merced, if that's how you say her name. I was going to say Isabella, who's playing Hawkgirl. Now, just looking at her, and I looked at her Instagram yesterday, she definitely has that look. As far as Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, they did have Finn Wittrock cast to be in the series. I thought he was a good choice, Finn Wittrock. This new casting, I don't know. I don't really feel, it doesn't give me any feels or anything like that, But it is what it is. On one hand, I think maybe people will, be excited to see, there's going to be lots of characters, obviously, that we've never seen live action. Hawkgirl, I think, is maybe the most interesting. Having a Black Adam movie, and Hawkman was probably one of my favorite characters in that movie besides Dr. Fate. It would have been really cool to see her, especially because after the movie came out and everyone thought that they were going to continue with those JSA members down the line, Aldous Hodge, who played Hawkman, he was talking about, like, yeah, at first she was going to be in the movie, but then we made some other decisions and we thought it'd be better to bring her in later on, and maybe Hawkman could be focused on more in his own thing or something, his own story, and then bring her in. So I was like, oh, that'd be really cool, because I think they're interesting characters to see on screen. And like I said, I thought he was a cool character in Black Adam. But that's obviously not going to happen. So I do think it would be cool to see her, though. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the actress's previous work, so I don't really have a opinion on whether or not she's a good fit for the role acting wise, but I do think she has the look of Hawkgirl. So those are the casting announcements that have been made so far regarding Superman Legacy. Like I said, I do think that the Lex Luthor casting announcement might be around the corner. Could happen later on today, probably after I post this video. That always happens. So thank you guys for watching. Share your thoughts down below and check out anything you might have missed recently. Again, my Blue Beetle trailer reaction from yesterday is up on the channel as well. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. There's a GameStop discount link in the description if you're a gamer and if you're interested in checking that out. But thank you guys for all the support, and we'll see you next time.